I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, May the 14th, brought to you in part by VITALIX. Not all tubs are created equal. Get the blue tub. Your cows will love you. Been talking quite a while about putting out free tubs here if you're watching on the feeder flash, and they are here. Sign up for your chance to get free VITALIX tub there. If you're watching this on NationalBeefWire.com, click the banner ad of VITALIX. If you're watching this on YouTube, straight on YouTube, click the link in the description that says VITALIX, guys. That will take you to where you sign up to register for a free tub there. For more information about VITALIX, go to VITALIX.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards, Beaver, Oklahoma. Another big sale for them. They're going to have close to 4,000 head, guys, and a lot of big yearlings. Loads and loads of big yearling steers, guys. If you need them, you either need to get to Beaver, Oklahoma, get an order in there, get online to DVAuction.com and view and bid this sale. They're going to have 2,500 yearlings or so on this offering, about 500 heifers weighing in the 7s and 8s. About 1,500 feeder steers weighing in the upper 7s, up to 10.5. A lot of loads of 9 and 10 weight steers, guys. If you're looking for them, they got like 5 loads of big 10 weight, AG stretchy, big growing Charlet steers. If you need them, guys. And then there's some fancy blacks in there. I mean, the quality is as good as you'll find anywhere. Then probably another 500 head of mixed yearlings, some lighter weights, some turnout type of yearlings, and then some odd bunches there too. Probably another 500 head of calves, mostly weighing from 400 to 600 pounds. There'll be one draft of 77 steers weighing 5.5. I mean, they're fall, long-time weaned calves, guys, but they're fancy. And they're the kind that are going to grow to you. Be just right to turn out, guys. So check out that sale. Then they'll have 200 or 300 cows. And remember, they're selling the cows after the feeders now on Tuesday through the summer. But good sale there at Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. A $10 basis. My goodness. What in the world? We opened the board up on Monday and jostled around there, and it looked like maybe all your cattle futures are going to be higher. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, your live cattle decided to be lower, and not significantly lower. I mean, especially as volatile as these markets are now, it's not anything big, but traded over 50 cents lower, and decided to nestle in there to close more than $10 lower than what your most recent, just last week's weighted average was in your 5-area feeding region for direct slaughter steers. We're halfway through May, guys, and that's the June contract is more than $10 away. Now, your hedged cattle feeders like it because that $10 is going to help them surpass their break even and make some money on these cattle, but it's not healthy for your market, especially when we sometimes have basis jumpers that are looking at that and can't resist it and don't try to gain any ground in the market. Now, we didn't have any basis jumpers last week because we had a late week trade. I mean, we didn't trade till Friday. Guys were hanging on. And last week's market, although it was mostly steady, if you ran it off steady, it's absolutely higher. The market's actually steady to firm. Maybe $1 higher in spots. But why your board wants to come out and be more than $10 cheaper than the most recent cash, and you know why the reason is because we're in a bastard month. May does not have a live cattle contract. Now, years ago they tried having a live cattle contract for every month of the year, and CME complained that there wasn't enough trade in it to make it worthy. But that was before the computers took over. That was back when we had people standing in the pits and things like that. I think we'd have better luck with it going now, and we wouldn't have all this big old reach here that we get when we see it. Now you think that the live cattle is bad here while we're sitting in a bastard month. Wait on feeder cattle after we get done with May here. See, now we saw your feeder cattle are mostly higher, and it was held on by your spot month there, which was up just as much as your June live cattle was down, but May was up 57 cents because it knows in less than 2 weeks it's going to have to come together with your CME cash feeder cattle index, and it's already trading at a discount to that. So it's not going to get any further away. You got to have something to tie these things together, guys. But you want to talk about bastard months. When we lose May on the feeder cattle, we got all of June and all of July to wait. And you wait till you see what they do to these feeder cattle whenever we lose our spot month of May. It's going to go one way and then the next. And back and forth and up and down, and them traders will have more fun with it, and people will be pulling their hair out, and those guys that have LRPs are going to be glad that they got them on their turned out yearlings, and it's just going to be a mess because it doesn't have to do any more with what the price of cash feeders is than the man in the moon whenever we lose May, because we're going to have 2 long months and then basically all of August to go before it ever has to meet up with anything. So boy, are they going to have fun with that. And that's what your traders, your speculators love, is a lot of volatility there, guys. And it's I just cringe to think about what they're going to do to your feeder cattle futures. And what we have to learn to do is just not pay too much attention to it. And I know that's hard, especially whenever we're going to go through a couple, 3 months here with not a lot of trade, not a lot of offerings in your sale barns. We're going to be thinking about pricing cattle for mid to late summer there, and people are going to lose track of where we're at. But don't let it get you down. We'll hang right in there, and on most years, and I won't see why this wouldn't be one of them, that market will kind of come to you when we get close to those cattle moving, because your buyers are going to want those cattle so bad, those green grass yearlings coming off grass, that the market will likely come to you. We'll have a lot of people that give up early, but at least for the last several years, it's been better at shipping time than it was in all the time leading up to it. But your fats, going back to your live cattle contract, I don't see anything in your cash fat cattle market that says it's going to lose $10 in the next 2 weeks. So that is a buying opportunity for spot live cattle. And I've had other analysts, technical analysts, get on to me saying, oh, you should never encourage anybody within the industry to go long. Who the hell is going to go long? We don't do anything for the longs. It's all on the short side. But you know, you got a spot month live cattle at 175.5. You've got a cash 5 area weighted average that's 186 and does not look to be weakening at any point. It looks like a buying opportunity to me. The cutout value just cannot keep up with retail prices. The retail prices for beef are plenty high in the stores. For some reason, your packers are just not getting that spot trade that we see in your CME cash, or in your in your box beef cutout values, to get up there to what we need to kind of give the market, the fat cattle market, room to grow a little bit. But you know, we feel like it'd have to go over $300, and I've told you this before. I think it's just what your packers are showing us. Those contract deals that they're doing for way out front, that does nothing to do with the spot trade there. But maybe when we get into our full grilling season here within another week or two, we're going to have some wholesale buyers and some end users there being spontaneous and coming in and buying, and they're going to have to be hand to mouth, and maybe the packers can get that spot box beef cutout value up enough to make sense with the fat cattle market. Excuse me. Let's talk about your board to open the week. June live cattle down 57 cents at 175.57. August down 72 at 173.40. Your back months were mixed from down 60 to up 22 cents. May feeder cattle up 57 cents at 239.37, still a couple bucks behind cash index levels. Then we got to go all the way out to August. That was up 45 cents at 251.35. That looks pretty high compared to the May, but I think it'll be even better than that. Your back months were down 55 cents to up 25 cents. July corn, we're switching to July. Not much play in the May anymore. July corn up 2 cents at 474.5. July beans unchanged at 12.19.5. July Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 4 3/4 cents at 704 3/4. Your weighted average on last week's negotiated fat cattle trade out of your 5-area feeding region, direct basis, they sold 68,300, which is on the light side, compared to 78,500 just a week before and 68,000 the same week a year ago. Live sales of fat steers and heifers in your 5-area range from 183 to 188. That's steady to a buck higher. Your weighted average on live steers, 185.94. That was up 20 cents. I wondered if it would reach steady, and indeed we had good enough trade there late Friday to be up 20 cents. That's significant that it was higher. Your dressed range, fat steers and heifers in the 5-area, was a narrow range from 294 to 296, which was steady to 2 bucks higher. Weighted average on dressed steers was 295.28. That was up 63 cents compared to the previous week's weighted average. So pretty good trade in the fat cattle arena there last week. Even though your packers were trying so hard to work it down, they indeed ended up paying more. Your market as a whole in the northern plains was unevenly steady to firm really from 185 to 187. Dress sales steady but steady to a buck higher from 295 to 296. Southern plains mostly steady at 184 for the most part. We are starting to see a split in Kansas. We're starting to see northern Kansas starting to trade a little more like the northern plains, more like Nebraska and Iowa than it is Texas and southwest Kansas there. Be interesting to see if that continues this week. Nationwide negotiated sales totaled 83,700 compared to 92,700 the week before and 81,500 the same week a year ago. Of the 83,700, about 30% of those were for the 2 to 4 week delivery. Negotiated grid sales last week, 47,300 head. Forward contracts have been light of late, 11,400 head last week. And formula sales last week totaled 270,600 head. Of the 4 out of 5 regions that we get information, negotiated sales in Iowa last week altogether 32,300. They still sell a lot of cattle negotiated in Iowa, guys, and they've got the best fat cattle in the world in Iowa. Don't tell me you have to have some kind of a formula to sell top quality cattle. They got more top quality cattle in Iowa than anywhere else, and they sell more of them negotiated. Nebraska, 18,900, which is down a little bit for them. Kansas sold 11,800 negotiated last week, and Texas only 5,300. Box beef cutout values higher, and that's impressive to start the week out. I mean, quite a bit higher. So choice cuts up 438 compared to the end of last week at $298.95. If it can cross $300 and keep going, that would be good for your fat cattle market. Select cuts up 301 at 287.18. Your slaughter to start the week was down a little bit, not terrible, but 116,000. That's 4,000 less than the same time the week before, 9,000 less than the same time a year before. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Monday, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer, 242.60. That was up 30 cents from the end of last week. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index, 241.36. Talk about your big sales on Monday, and I tell you what, it's sure slowing down, guys. Didn't see a whole lot of big strings of cattle selling. It's really slowing down. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 8,400. That was a big run when you consider a year ago they had 4,300. So I'm thinking a year ago they had to move those cattle off graze out before this, and so we didn't see quite as many this late. But pretty good run in Oklahoma City there, and they called the market mostly steady without any commentary about what the hell's going on. I found that kind of weird from your federal state market reporters. Oklahoma City usually has good market reporting. Not saying the market wasn't mostly steady, but usually you have some kind of comments on that. Did have a good quote out of National Livestock there. That commission firm sold some steers, 62 head of them, weighed 532 at 326 in Oklahoma City. I thought that was pretty impressive. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards in Carthage, Missouri? They sell 6,700 head. And of course I'm very critical of market reporting. I trained market reporters for 15 years out of my nearly 20 career with USDA. The market reporter at Joplin, he really struggled there. He called the steers from 5 lower to 12 higher. Just a $17 spread there in that trend. That's ridiculous. Somebody needs to be training on him or cracking a whip on him. That's what I'd have been doing. How about the heifers steady to $8 higher, and then have a trend like that and then no commentary to answer for it? That's what auction market commentary is for in your trend section. You don't just ramble on about various things like I do on this report. When you're doing an auction market report, you're only talking about the sale there that day. You call your trend and then you make comments to explain why you called it the way you did. And I don't know why. Well, nobody trains that anymore. They don't train market reporters anymore. They throw them a little handy laptop and turn them loose, and then the rest of us have to deal with that. But at Joplin, even though they had a very uneven trend there, it is our National BeefWire stick-out sale of the day. I pulled your automated market report. You saw it was pretty much all higher, and they did call it mostly higher. I don't know that the spreads needed to be that wide. But look at your best tested weights, which it's Joplin. They have best tests in all the weight groups. So this is your market in the lower Midwest, guys, on feeder cattle and calves. 565 head of 4-weight steers, average 458, with a weighted average price of 321.02. There were 922 head of 5-weight steers. They averaged 546 with a weighted average price on all of them of 298.81. That was a little bit lower. 648 head of 6-weight steers averaged 634 at 275.69. 342 head of 7-weight steers averaged 758 with a weighted average price right at 250 smooth. 354 head of 8-weight steers averaged 859 at 234.99, and 321 head of 9-weight steers in Joplin averaged 220.81. Let's look at some heifer weight groups. About 494 head of 4-weight heifers. They averaged 450 pounds at 292.27. 843 head of 5-weight heifers averaged 533 at 270.53. Excuse me, 551 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 645 at 242.52. 757 head of 7-weight heifers in Carthage, Missouri averaged 754 with a weighted average price of 229.48, and 258 head of 8-weight heifers averaged 822 at 217.22. Give you some individual quotes from all around. How about Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington, Kentucky? They've got green grass yearlings. We've still got some coming off graze out wheat. Last year, probably the year before, their yearlings were selling up even and higher than ours before because we didn't have so much graze out wheat. But this time, we've still got some green yearlings coming off graze out. But check out these. 64 steers weighed 892 in Lexington, Kentucky. Bring 237.85. I thought that was pretty good for as far east as that is. How about Aberdeen livestock sales in Aberdeen, South Dakota? They sell 71 steers, weighed 663, well over 6.5, at $312.50. Wow. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri. It was 93 heifers. They weighed 578, almost 600 pounds, guys, and bring 298.75. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.